Hello, my friends. Welcome to Talk to Me Tuesday for Tuesday, January 30th, 2024. This is Jennifer. It's hard to believe we've already made it almost all the way through January, but here we are. I have a little bit more UFO stuff to share. I did finish my Enterprise row. I actually moved everything up a little bit, so this would be more in frame. This row took 4.5 years to finish. The rest of them I did drag the quilt along, but I'm going to take a little break now because I have a couple other things I want to work on, and I just can't paper piece as many days in a row as I used to. It's just a reality of my physical limitations, so I'm going to take a little break. The main thing I did the main thing I did last week was this Enterprise, so that was from here to like here. It was a very large block. Love the way it came out. Love my batiks. I love having this on the wall. It's so graphic and so beautiful. I forgot just how much fun this quilt along was, but I do have some other things to work on, so I will get back to this very soon. During my New Year's video, when I was sharing all the things I would like to work on this year, one of the things I mentioned were handprints of my children that needed to be rescued. I had originally planned to mold these and completely remake them, but I was very uncertain as to whether or not I could do that in a safe way, so I did not. I ended up repairing them. So these were originally salt dough. I'm going to put a picture here so you guys can see what they look like before. These are my kids' handprints from probably 25 years ago. The salt dough expanded and contracted in our humid, hot environment. We had several summers over the years where the AC wasn't working and everything in the house was hot, and I'm pretty sure that's probably what happened to this. And maybe salt dough just doesn't last that long, but both of them cracked and broke, and I had glued them back together over the years, and then my eldest child's broke extremely bad, and I ended up gluing them back together, and then I took some Crayola air dry clay and I filled in all the spaces, and I'll let that dry for like a couple of weeks. I primed them, and then I painted them with folk art chalk paint because I just kind of wanted them to look like they were made out of plaster. They were clearly made out of salt dough. I know that. You know that because I just told you, but I wanted them to look as nice as I could make them look because they're special to me even if they're not special to anyone else. And this is how they turned out. So you've seen the before. This is my eldest child's. You can tell on the back that it has still a lot of cracks. I filled in a giant hole that had just disintegrated on the back. That's this back piece right here is entirely air clay. And then there was a crack. It was broken in half all the way across here. So I filled in holes that had formed inside, and then I glued it all back together, and then you can see the little handprint there. And this kiddo's hands are about this size now. My younger child's was in a little bit better shape, but only because I had already glued it back together in the past. I did fill in some holes, and there's his little handprint. So my plan for these after discussing with my kids is I'm going to put them in shadow boxes with fabric on the back that represents who they are now so that the white will really pop. So hopefully I'll find shadow boxes in the next week or so, and then I'll have those all done. This has been on my to-do list for probably 15 years, so having these taken care of, I've just had them like wrapped up and stored away in a box, and having them finished is just, it's extremely pleasing to my mom heart. I did a little project actually a couple of weeks ago, and I forgot to share with you guys last week. This is a Valentine's card for my eldest child. They only live a couple miles from me, but they don't get a lot of mail because who does anymore? So I am going to send them a Valentine's card that I made. The design is from Urban Threads. I stitched this out years ago. You may have recognized it. It used to hang like right over here on my design wall. I just stuck it up with a pin and I just left it there because I thought it was fun. So it is this design. And I turned it a little bit catty corner. I created a template where I can make postcards on my embroidery machine. So it allows me to basically, it's stitched out a little line, and then I put the pre-cut, like this is a stiff stabilizer. I put the pre-cut fusible stabilizer down, and then I put whatever I want on top, and then it makes like a little postcard. It's really just the satin stitch. It's so that I get like this perfect satin stitch and I don't have to do it on my domestic machine. So I turned it a little kitty corner, and of course, if you are any kind of 70s, 80s, maybe even 90s kid, you're gonna recognize this format. I don't know if it kept going after that, but this was certainly a thing we did when I was a kid. So yeah, this is the Valentine's card for my eldest kiddo. Speaking of Valentine's, I did have a free pattern post on Friday on Sewhooked. It was a roundup of all of my heart patterns that I've designed over the years. They're all free. I tweaked a couple of them just to make them look a little more updated. I would love to see them if you make them in modern fabric or use them in a project. Just be sure and tag me at sewhookedjen on Instagram, or you can just send me an email. I'm happy for that to happen too. I love seeing what you guys do with my patterns. It is like, it lights up my life. It makes my day when I see that. I have a really quick Raggedy update. I did record the process as I was cleaning the doll that I showed you guys last week. Just for a reminder, this is the before. This is the doll, the Raggedy Ann I found at Austin Creative Reuse. She gets to keep her hair because her hair is not dry rotted, and I will give her a little trim, so she looks a little raggedy right now, but this is what she looks like now. And I have a I have a little very short story to share with you. So she's still a little bit, she has a little bit of yellowing, but she's infinitely better. But you may notice that she now has one eye that is no longer blue. I soaked her in OxyClean, washed her a little bit cleaner, but still had a really terrible stain. And it was kind of gross, which is why I really wanted to get the stain out as much as possible. And at that point, I was like, I'm pretty sure this was coffee. It looks like coffee. It didn't have a smell. It was so old, but I'm pretty sure it was coffee. So I got Carbona coffee and tea remover, and that worked great. That brought us this result. But then I got a little ahead of myself and decided I had this new stain remover that's for making whites brighter, and it's not, doesn't have bleach in it. It's supposed to be great, and I tried it. I did a test, and it took 5 minutes for this eye to bleach out. It didn't do anything else to this fabric. It was already as clean as you see it here, but it did bleach this eye out. And so somebody's going to get a new eye when we finish our restoration. So yeah, I'm very pleased, and there will be updates on her. I'm going to do a totally separate video. I keep saying her, but I think this is going to be an Andy. And so pretty much what I'm thinking is I'm going to give this one a coordinating hair. It may not be exactly the same. And then this one's going to get a little bit of a haircut so that the hair is not quite so fuzzy. The only other thing I did last week was sort my buttons, which is one of the things I've been wanting to do as a way to organize my sewing room better. And I had an opportunity come up because one of my husband's favorite shirts, the buttons were delaminating, so they were brown, and that was peeling off, and now they're kind of brown, white, speckled. Just, they look kind of terrible. So I knew I could find enough buttons to replace them, but they were all in a shoebox mixed together. So one day last week, I got out practically every bowl I owned in the kitchen, and I sat at the table. Over the course of the day, I took several breaks, but I would just go sit for like an hour and sort buttons, and then go do something else and come back and sort buttons. I got them all sorted, and then I didn't know what to do with them. I had them in bowls, and then I stuck them in Ziploc bags, and then I was like, I don't like this. I need a place to put them so I can find them. And when I went to my grocery store on Friday, they happened to have 16-ounce canning jars that were not just the perfect size for what I needed, but the box they were in was a good size for me to put on my Calac shelf, which ironically I kind of decided I don't think I want to keep them there. But let me show you a few of the jars. So these were canning jars. I got 12 of them for I think $13, and so they're perfect storage for all of my buttons. I love them. They're pretty. And now that I have them like this, I want to put a shelf up somewhere so that I can display them as well, but I haven't figured that out yet. That's next. So for now, they're going to live in the case they came in, which is this. So they're like this right now, which happens to be just a smidge bigger than the bins that I use on my Calacs. I can get 2 of these in the shelves. So right now they'll just be on the shelf like that. Guys, I think that is more than enough for today. I'm going to go ahead and call it. And if you're Talk to Me Tuesday, don't forget that your swap partner will be coming sometime today, probably right after you see this video. If you post videos and would like to join Talk to Me Tuesday, or if you don't post videos and you think you might, there's a link in the description as to how you can join us. We are just a show and tell group of friends who make crafts, and for the most part, this is what we do. Pretty much all of us just share what we're working on, and we talk to you, and hopefully you'll talk to us. So stay tuned for the cat cameo, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.